I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, dadgum summertime, I can't plant nothing in summertime. Well, I beg to differ with you. Let me show you something that I planted that is doing real well. And if you're a fan of this particular vegetable, it's not too late for you to do it. Unless you're way up tippy top north, might be. I don't know what y'all can do up there. But anyway, if you're in the south, this is ready to go. So this is my bed of okra, and I just planted this, I want to say a couple of weeks ago. Came up really well, and I didn't know that it would. This is like at least 2-year-old seed. I think it said 2024, it may have said 2023. This is jambalaya. I got from Hoss, but I got it from Hoss a long time ago. And what I did, a few little weeds, I've been trying to police them a little bit. What I did was plant, this is a 2-foot wide Vegega bed. I planted on the outside rim of the bed, about 8 inches apart, 6 to 8 inches apart, which may be a little close, I'm not sure. But so far, so good. Now, again, this is a raised bed. This is 17 inches tall. I don't remember, I've planted jambalaya before, I don't remember how tall it gets. So I may have a ladder out here trying to gather some okra, I'm not sure. Some of it didn't come up, didn't germinate the first time, like those 2, and like those 3. Anyway, doing real well if you're a fan of okra. Only way I like okra is either fried or pickled. I love pickled okra, and that's what I really would like to do with these this year, is pickle some okra. I've got a lot of pickles from the last couple of years that I've done, cucumbers, and I would like to pickle some okra. But anyway, this is a great summer crop, is okra. Okra loves the heat. In fact, don't plant it in the spring if it's too dang gum cold, because it won't germinate. But this is the okra. I've done a lot of research on okra, and I put together an explainer video on okra that tells you just about everything you need to know about how to grow okra, and about seeds, varieties, planting, fertilizing, harvest, the whole bit. And I'm going to give it to you right now. It goes like this.
Welcome to this explainer. You know, if you've ever looked at your small raised bed and thought, no way can I grow a massive crop like okra in that, well, you are in for a fantastic surprise. Today, we're completely transforming that beginner's hesitation into an empowering seed-to-skillet journey. We're going to distill down some top-tier expert advice to show you exactly how to maximize your limited space and get a continuous, heavy yield of incredibly tender okra. So here is our game plan for today. We'll quickly cover choosing small space varieties, dive into a planting guide, look at mid-season pruning and care, tackle common okra pests, and finally, wrap up with harvesting and grading. All right, section 1, choosing small space varieties. Because honestly, picking the right seed is literally the make or break moment for container gardeners. I mean, picture this, an 8-foot tall okra plant in a tiny raised bed. It's completely overwhelming. Eventually, you'd need a stepladder just to harvest your dinner. So we have to ask a fundamental question right out of the gate. Which varieties actually make sense for the limited space you have? It's really a tale of 2 okras here. On one hand, you've got these towering, giant varieties like Alabama Red or Star of David. They shoot up to 7 or 8 feet rapidly, and the catch is that their fat pods get woody and tough super fast if you don't pick them at the exact right second. But on the flip side, you'd have these amazing dwarf, bushy varieties. Think dwarf cowhorn or green fingers. They stay short, they're manageable, and the best part? Their pods stay incredibly tender even as they grow longer. For a raised bed, we definitely want to lean heavily toward the bushy guys. Let's get specific on these lifesavers. Green fingers is an absolute rock star. It's a dwarf variety that thrives beautifully in root pouches or container gardens. Then there's dwarf cowhorn. It stays bushy, but get this, its pods stay tender even when they are 10 to 12 inches long. Talk about maximizing your harvest. Chopi is great because it grows nice and upright without sprawling everywhere. Burmese, it stays short but pumps out a crazy amount of okra. And jambalaya is a real game changer. It's a hybrid that gives you an early 2-week head start, actually producing pods when the plant is just a foot tall. Moving right along to section 2, our small space planting guide, getting those seeds into the soil.
70 degrees Fahrenheit. Seriously, write that number down. Okra absolutely despises cold dirt.
If your soil temperature is hovering below 70 degrees, those seeds will just sit there and refuse to germinate, period. You've got to wait for things to warm up or start them indoors if you really want to jump the gun on spring.
Okay, so how do we actually maximize that raised bed? First off, like we just said, wait for that 70-degree soil. Step 2 is a brilliant pro tip. Okra seeds have this incredibly thick outer capsule. If you soak them in water for a few hours, or just take some fingernail clippers and carefully nick the rounded end, you'll speed up germination like you wouldn't believe. Step 3, plant them in double rows to squeeze every ounce of yield out of your small space. And step 4, cover them lightly, but, and this is absolutely crucial, hold off on the pre-plant fertilizer. If you feed them too much right away, you risk growing a massive, lush, beautiful plant with 0 okra pods. You actually want to starve them just a little bit at the beginning to trigger pod production.
All right, Section 3, Pruning and Care Strategies. Let's talk mid-season maintenance.
The experts are actually a bit split here, and you have 2 distinct philosophies to choose from. We've got the ease of harvest approach. This is where you prune off the lower lateral branches so your okra looks like a cute little palm tree with maybe 1 to 3 main stalks. It keeps the bed super manageable, and picking the okra is a total breeze. On the flip side, there's the leaf production theory. The idea here is simple: don't prune at all. More leaves equal more photosynthesis, which directly equals higher fruit yield. It's totally up to you whether you value an easy, unobstructed harvest in a tight space or just maximum leafy growth.
Now, I need you to hear this because it's an absolute game changer. Succession planting. We aren't just doing this for fun, it's practically a survival tactic. As summer drags on, older okra plants inevitably succumb to devastating root issues and their production just tanks. But if you plant a new round of seeds a few weeks behind your first batch, those young backup plants are ready to step right up just as the old ones are failing. It is your key to producing okra continuously, all the way until the first frost.
Which brings us to Section 4, Managing Common Okra Pests and Protecting That Hard-Earned Crop.
You know, playing detective in the garden is actually pretty easy once you know what to look for. See ants marching up and down your stems? They're probably guarding aphids right under the leaves. A quick spray of neem oil or dish soap will clear those soft-bodied guys right out. Now what if you pull off an okra pod and it has these hard, weird little bumps on it? That's a stink bug piercing it. They're tougher, so you'll need a stronger insecticide for those. And then there's the big one, root knot nematodes. If your gorgeous green plants suddenly turn yellow and start dying off, dig down and check the roots. If they look swollen and mangled, you've got nematodes. And like we just learned, your primary immediate defense is that succession planting we just covered. But hey, what if those nematodes completely ravage your raised bed this year? Don't panic, there's an incredible organic fix. Over the winter, plant a spicy mustard cover crop, something like Kodiak Brown, right in that same bed. The spicier the mustard, the better. When the season ends, you chop it down and mix it directly into the dirt. As it breaks down, it releases chemical compounds called glucosinolates. It basically acts as a natural biofumigant, gassing up the soil and suppressing those harmful nematodes for next summer's crop. How cool is that?
Finally, we reach Section 5, Harvesting and Grading Okra. Time to reap the rewards.
So, commercial agricultural markets actually grade their okra, and you can totally steal this system for your own backyard. Extra fancy is the absolute cream of the crop, the smallest, most highly valued culinary cuts. Then there's fancy. That's your sweet spot, usually around 3 to 4 inches long, where you get peak tenderness combined with a good-sized bite. Lastly, you've got choice, which usually refers to those large, overgrown pods that have turned tough and woody. But, and here is the real magic of what we talked about earlier, if you planted dwarf varieties like dwarf cowhorn or Burmese, they actively break the rules. You can harvest them at those massive choice sizes, and they will mysteriously stay just as tender as a fancy cut. It's wild.
And you know what else is fascinating? The physical shape of the okra you chose actually dictates how you should cook it. Got a smooth pod like Choppy? It is custom made for pickling. Because there are no ridges, you can pack them insanely tight into a mason jar. But if you grew a ridged pod like Burmese or cowhorn, those deep grooves create extra surface area. That means they soak up significantly more breading, making them the absolute undisputed kings of the frying skillet. So, armed with the knowledge of the right dwarf varieties, the perfect soil temperatures, and exact harvesting, the only thing left to do is go plant. But honestly, it leaves us with an even bigger question to think about. If you can master a notoriously massive crop like okra inside a tiny 4x4 box, what other impossible garden feats are you actually capable of achieving in your small space?
So I hope that was helpful to you. I know I learned a bunch of stuff when I put it together. Now that they're up a little bit, I'll fertilize these pretty soon. And jambalaya will start fruiting. We'll start putting out okra when they're about 18 inches tall. So it's a real fast growing, fast return on a little bit of effort. Stick some seed in the ground. If it's hot, it should grow. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and get out there and plant something that grows in the heat. This is one of them, okra. All right, we're gone.